The other thing that happens is that sometimes your minions also get caught in these traps.
Does that result in hilarity or is it incredibly irritating?
It's probably one of the only ways in which your minions die that I accept as being fun.
Hello and welcome to Rock, Paper, Shotgun and My Favourite Thing In. This is where I, Colin Mahern, chat to one of the lovely people at RPS about a spang new video game they've been playing and get them to tell me about their favourite thing in it. In some cases they'll have to think long and hard about their choice because the game they've been playing mightn't have been that great, while other better games will give them multiple things to pick. Regular visitor to the RPS treehouse, Brendy Caldwell, has been playing the eagerly anticipated Blofeld simulator, Evil Genius 2 World Domination. It's been 17 years since the original, and I know a lot of you are keen to know more about it. So I've asked him to chat to me about the game and the one aspect of it that he enjoys more than anything else. So, Brendy, what is your favourite thing in Evil Genius 2?
My favourite thing in Evil Genius 2 is the traps. The booby traps that exist in your corridors. You put them down in your corridors. There's a whole variety of them. They're the kind of traps that would exist in an episode of Wile E. Coyote and Roadrunner. So there's big boxing gloves, poison darts, flamethrowers, all sorts of stuff.
So, for the uninitiated, these traps, they're placed in your base to fend off these kind of special agent James Bond types, is that right?
That's right. Basically, you're on an island, and one side of the island is a casino, and that's all legit. There's nothing wrong in there. It's just a normal casino, right? Except that behind the doors of the staff-only area is your secret lair, and secret agents will try to snoop around in there. They'll try to get in there, and they'll try to take pictures of stuff, find things out, maybe sabotage some things. So you need to put down traps in the corridors to basically whittle away at their health, trap by trap, in a sort of tower defense style, but within a base building game. The idea behind the traps is to build Rube Goldberg machines. So if you imagine the mousetrap toy from the 1990s, you'll build a big fan, and that fan will blow a spy down a corridor. A giant novelty-sized magnet will come out of the floor further down that corridor, and it'll pull the spy towards a shark tank. And you can build up huge knock-on effects of these traps. And it's possible to do that anyway. It's a bit finicky and costly to do. And finicky is something that's true of the game as a whole. But when it works, it is pleasing to know that your lair has some level of protection.
So these traps can interact with each other?
Yeah, the idea is like you build up a chain, and then if you build up a good enough chain, you'll be able to basically kill the spy in one go, rather than, say, having a whole corridor full of poison darts where they just have to walk and get hit by dart trap after dart trap.
And is it just that seeing what you envisioned in your head coming to life, that's the joy of these booby traps?
Yeah, the funny thing is watching them go off. The downside is that you're not always there to see it happen. The game will shout, "Oh, a trap has been set off," and you have to kind of race across the screen, across the map to see.
Right.
The other thing that happens is that sometimes your minions also get caught in these traps by accident, because an agent will trigger a trap, but your minions will be standing in the same place as that agent. So the boxing glove or whatever will come out, batter them all down a corridor, and through the gauntlet of traps. And they'll all land beside a laser wall, and then it'll just fry them all indiscriminately like a big microwave.
Does that result in hilarity or is it incredibly irritating?
It's probably one of the only ways in which your minions die that I accept as being fun. The agents that come, for example, some of them are super agents, and they can actually disable the traps, and they'll have often a whole bunch of other agents walking behind them. So they'll disable a trap, and then they'll all just pass through very easily and quietly. And it's hugely frustrating to have these types of super spy in the base, because they'll ignore everything you've built and you have to try to rely on other methods to get those agents, but they're also super powerful. Like one of them is a James Bond style guy, and he can kill any of your men in a single shot. He's absolutely hateful. There's another who plants bombs on generators and sets fire to your computers and stuff like that, and the fires are huge and they spread really fast, and they can kill so many of your minions. It's really upsetting, and to get them you have to actually try to either physically fight them or just let them do their thing.
Okay, so these traps are fun and playful, but also finicky, you said?
It's not so much that the traps are finicky. The traps are really good, and it's fun to play around with them. They all fit within a kind of 4 space wide corridor. They're all designed so that they can slot together. They're all very modular, so it does feel like you're building a big toy. The problem is the rest of the game is designed in a way, this is when you're playing in normal mode, the rest of the game is designed in a way where it's quite hard and slow to get money and to make sure you have enough power to run the traps, because you have to build these big generators that power everything, and the traps are quite, if you have enough of them, it drains quite a lot of power. So what I'd recommend to anyone who's playing the game is to play it in sandbox mode, because that mode basically gives you infinite money. You're cheating, but you get to play with the traps way more in that mode than in, say, the normal game, the main story mode, if you will. You can't just fill an entire corridor with traps. There are some limitations. I mean, you could, but there are other things you need to put in those corridors to make sure your base is operating okay. Like, fire extinguishers need to go on the walls outside rooms, because when a fire starts, you need to put it out really quickly, otherwise it will kill dozens of your people. You need to put doors to other rooms, for example, in those corridors. You need to put CCTV cameras down so that your guards know when a spy has come in. You need to put guard posts down so that your guards can stand, say, outside your prison to make sure nobody escapes. So you do have to balance the trappiness of your corridors with some other basic necessities.
Okay, so yeah, it can't just be Acme flooring all across your base.
I mean, you can, but you'll have some trouble whenever half of that Acme flooring goes on fire. I mean, I did at one point have one corridor that basically led to nowhere. It led to a 2-generator power room, and it was basically a kind of deception corridor where I would try to send new super agents or spies who would come into the casino. They would have 2 choices. They could go into the real secret lair, or they could go into what I would call, the death corridor. And and I would try to build up a series of traps that would just lead to nothing at the end of it, so that the AI would basically follow a completely misleading line.
Did it work?
I ran out of money before I could finish the death corridor, so...
Oh, and that's where the sandbox recommendation comes in.
Exactly.
Thank you very much for chatting with me today, Brendy. And if you, dear viewer, would like to check out Brendy's full thoughts on Evil Genius 2 World Domination, then be sure to have a read of his written review of the game on rockpapershotgun.com. Thank you very much for watching, you absolute star. We hope to see you again soon as we learn more about people's favourite things in video games. But before I leave you go, do remember, for all of your PC gaming needs, keep it on rockpapershotgun.com.